Everyone. I'm Marty Tunney. I'm the COO of IsoEnergy. I want to thank you all for coming out to get a bit of an update and hear what we're doing at ISO. We are a leading diversified uranium company in Tier 1 jurisdictions. We're focused on advancing our high-grade uranium asset in the Athabasca Basin, as well as getting into production in the United States. You might want to take some time and read the disclaimer when you have a chance. It's on our website. I'll quickly go through our investment highlights. So we are built for the current uranium market. We're highly leveraged to the rising price of uranium. We've got diversified assets across Tier 1 jurisdictions, mainly focused on Australia, Canada, and the United States. We've got a substantial mineral endowment. This is underpinned by the high-grade uranium deposit in the Athabasca Basin. This is the highest grade uranium deposit in the world. We've got a focused production strategy. Our goal is to become a multi-asset producer, near-term production out of the United States. And we've got a proven leadership team, many members of the board on the next-gen board, and Phil Williams is our CEO, who's been in the industry for 20 plus years. Bit of a snapshot on the company. We've got roughly 180 million shares outstanding. Got just shy of about $50 million in cash, so well financed to do what we're doing today and move on with our work program. And you know what we've got that a lot of others don't? We've got a very significant shareholder list. NextGen Energy owning 33% of us. We've got Energy Fuels, another corporate, at just shy of 5%. And then, we've got the typical funds in the background underpinned by Sachem Cove and Mega Uranium, each holding roughly 2.5%. We've got a very strong list of brokerages covering us from a research standpoint, about 8 in there now with various targets, all well above where our market or where our share price is today. And I expect this list of analysts to grow over the coming weeks and months. So here's a great shot of where we are globally. In United States, Canada, and Australia. When we say Canada, we're largely focused on the Athabasca Basin, again underpinned by our high-grade hurricane deposit, all on the eastern side of the basin. United States, we're largely focused on Utah and our three past producing mines that we've got fully permitted. And in Australia, we've got a great portfolio of exploration and development projects. And I think this is a great slide that outlines our strategy today and going forward. We're focused on the near-term production right now at Tony M and Daneros in Utah. We recently opened up that Tony M portal. And then right behind that, we've got a near-term development project or development/exploration, advanced exploration at Hurricane. And then right behind that, we've got a full suite of exploration projects in the Athabasca and Australia. And one thing I think I'd like to add on here is we've significantly expanded our footprint in Utah based on a lot of research that our team down there has been doing. We do have a top-tier exploration team. And right behind that, we've got our call options. And these are projects that we picked up for really a song. In past uranium bull markets, the Coles Hill project and Matoush projects each carried multi-$100 million market caps on their own. But when they were single jurisdiction companies, they ran into some political/social challenges, sidelining those assets. We picked them up. We're moving them forward as best we can. And if we do get traction on either one of those, it will be a step change for the company. Those are projects that are very well known, very well explored, and a lot of money has been sunk into those. Those would quickly move into development. And in addition, we've got a strong equity portfolio made up of, investments we've put out there, and in addition to companies or assets we've spun out. And so we've got some next-gen shares, ATHA, Premier American Uranium, and right now a private company called Jaguar that's expected to go public this fall. So roughly about $30 million in equities. And, this company was built by a merger between two companies, IsoEnergy and Consolidated Uranium, where it sits now. Consolidated Uranium was a company that was largely built on M&A. A very strong team in M&A. We're very, from a cash position, we're very strong position relative to a lot of our peers. A lot of our peers do have great assets, but they may not have the ability to raise capital and access to capital that we have, which puts us in a very strong position. So I would expect us to continue to grow the same way we've grown in the past. So we talk about our Eastern Athabasca properties. This is, we've got a prime location there. We've got a portfolio of over 20 projects, about 220,000 hectares, so a very strong footprint in, a great jurisdiction, underpinned by our Hurricane deposit, which again is the highest grade uranium deposit in the world. 48 million pounds of uranium at 34% of indicated, an inferred resource of 2.7 million pounds at 2.2%. And then we've got a whole host of exploration properties filling out the bullpen, coming right up in behind that we're very excited about. And the exploration here is all being led by Dr. Darryl Clark. Many of you might know him. He's a well-known uranium geologist, probably one of the best in the world today, and we're happy to have him on the team advancing our projects here. So we look at Hurricane. It's 100% owned by IsoEnergy. Highest grade uranium deposit in the world with great geometry, relatively shallow at 325 meters compared to some of the other projects out there in the basin. The infrastructure is great. We're 40 kilometers from the Orano's McLean Lake Mill and roughly about 13, 14 kilometers away from paved highway with power in place. We're looking at various opportunities to mine this. Spending some time on that, and remains to be seen where we'll go with that. One thing a lot of people don't realize is we've got a border down to the south of the project that divides us roughly north, east, southwest with Cameco and Orano. They've got a joint venture that they've been doing a lot of work on, and I'll talk about that shortly. But we've got great neighbors that are excited about what they're seeing, and we still have a lot of exploration upside. This is a 9-kilometer prospective corridor, and using ambient noise tomography, we've identified a lot of additional targets along this corridor, and we've been doing the work since last winter and all summer to drill this out. So when I talk about Hurricane and exceptionally high grade, I'll just talk. I'll point out some of the drill holes we've got on this project. 10 meters of 11.7%, including 3 meters of 40+%. 7.5 meters of 38.8, including 3.5 meters of 74%, and so on. And you can see right in here, this is our deposit that's very well outlined by the ant and the resource, and that's us up here at Hurricane. And right down here, this is the Dawn Lake joint venture with Cameco and Orano. That's our interpretation of the outline of their ore body, and that's based on us being able to see those drills turning. While we're working away as well, it's hard not to notice. And I think, putting this into perspective into how Cameco's thinking about this, and likely Orano as well, the words are right there from Cameco's disclosure. In 2023, drilling at Dawn Lake expanded the footprint of known uranium mineralization with intercepts in excess of 60% over several meters. Very early stage for them, but they're very excited about this. And on a recent conference call, they announced that they plan to put out a resource on this deposit, which I think is pretty significant because they wouldn't put it out if it wasn't a material property for them. So very exciting for us. And as COO, I'm a mining engineer by background, spent a lot of time in the industry, largely in the base metals and gold space, but working on operations and building mines. I'm very excited about the opportunity that we've got down in Utah. We recently opened our Tony M mine. We acquired a set of mines from Energy Fuels back in 2021. These were fully permitted, past-producing mines with all their permits in place, all of them. So there's nothing remaining in order to get these mines into production. Well over $100 million was spent in capex on these projects in today's dollars. Tony M has a current 4301 in place, and there's historical mineral resources at Dineros and Sage Plain. This saves us a significant amount of time and cost. We're talking a handful of millions of dollars to get Tony M back into production, well within what we've got in the bank account today, so it doesn't cost us anything, really, in terms of going out and raising more money. We've got that toll milling agreement in place with Energy Fuels, which came as part of the acquisition. This allows us to process our ore at their White Mesa mill. This is the only permitted operational conventional uranium mine in the United States. So if you're a hard rock uranium producer in the US, you will not be producing in the US unless you've got, in the short term, unless you've got access to this mill. And currently it's just us and Energy Fuels. And we do have an exploration program underway to expand our resources down at site. So talked about advancing Tony M towards a potential restart. We opened the portal about 4 to 5 weeks ago, get underground. The idea is to get in and figure out what it looks like. As we all know, when you have a past producing mine that gets shuttered, it's been shuttered for over 10 years. We weren't sure what we were going to see. We were pleasantly surprised that it was in pretty good shape. I was surprised that most of the copper was still there, which was exciting for us. You know, the headings, everything looked really good. The back was good. Our guys have been barring down, scaling, putting in some ground support, getting the utilities working, the water, the air. So it's been going relatively quick. And this is all to allow for our exploration team to get in there and do a bit of mapping and sampling and make sure that everything we had on paper lines up with what's underground. And so far, so good. Once we start to advance this a little bit, we will start working on an economic study just to make sure that we're going to be going at this the right way. And the goal is to be in production in 2025. This is largely tied to Energy Fuels opening up the White Mesa Mill for production. Obviously, we don't want to be producing and you know, building out working capital that we don't necessarily have to have there. So when they're ready to go, we should be ready to go as well. We've increased our land package at Tony M by about 440%. Our team spent a lot of time down there looking at past work that's been done, finding historical reports and the rest of it, and very confident that this is going to help us extend the life of our mine at Tony M once we get going. Just a few pictures of what we've got going on at Tony M. You can see the main decline looks in really good shape. We did do a bit of work in there, but very happy how it looks. We picked up a few pieces of new equipment to help us open up the underground, some new generators, some fans, and some of the team down at Tony M standing in front of the open portal. And just upcoming catalysts. I mean, we've been working throughout the winter and recently in the summer at the Athabasca Basin. Developed lots of new targets at Laroque East, and they're being tested. In the U.S., as I said, we're basically readying the projects for a production decision. We'll get into an economic study that should be completed late this year, early next year. And we've got a U.S. exploration program, and we're advancing, you know, work across the portfolio, including Australia. And again, we're going to continue to evaluate additional opportunities from an M&A standpoint. We'd like to take advantage of the current market and where it's at and see where we get to. Just a few of the members of the team, you know, the board, multiple members from NextGen there to support us. They're very excited what we're doing. They're going to be there economically for us and technically to help us move forward. Phil Williams, who many of you might know, as I said, lifer in the uranium space, a strong leader, and great to have him on the team. And Daryl Clark, who's been advancing all the exploration work and has really helped get or advanced Hurricane to where it is today. So I think that's it. I'm pretty tight for time. I don't know if anyone had any questions, or if not, I'll be around and happy to answer any questions any of you have and available to me at any time. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks again, Mark.